Welcome to Small Stories, Big Healing, where old teachings speak softly into modern lives.
When you promise yourself you will change, but you fall back into old habits again, what does that mean? Have you ever stood at the beginning of a new week, a new month, or a new year and felt certain you would become a different person, only to discover that your old patterns were waiting right where you left them? When you cannot stay consistent, when your motivation fades, when you wonder, what is wrong with me? This story is for you. Once upon a time, in a coastal town where fog kissed the rooftops each morning, lived a young man named Malik. Malik was not lazy. He was not foolish. In fact, he was full of good intentions, so full that his mind felt crowded. One day, Malik would wake early, exercise, and drink water like a disciplined traveler. The next day, he would sleep late, scroll through his phone, and forget everything he promised himself. He kept a notebook of plans. The notebook grew thick, yet his life did not change. One evening, Malik sat by the window of his small apartment, watching rain slide down the glass. He whispered to the room, as if the room could answer him. "Why can't I change? I want to be better, but I keep returning to the same place." The rain did not reply, but something inside Malik quietly ached, because wanting is not the same as becoming. The next morning, Malik walked through the market to clear his head. He passed fruit stands, spice sellers, and fishermen mending nets. Everything looked busy. Everything looked alive. Yet Malik felt stuck, as if his feet were tied with invisible rope. At the edge of the market, near the old harbor path, there was a small workshop with bamboo poles stacked outside like tall, resting reeds. A sign hung above the door. It read, "Repairing baskets, repairing tools, repairing what time has bent." Inside, an elderly woman sat at a low table, weaving bamboo strips into a basket. Her hands moved slowly, but with perfect certainty, like a river that never forgets its way to the sea. Malik hesitated at the doorway. The woman looked up and smiled, as if she had been expecting him. "Come in," she said gently. "Your face carries a question." Malik stepped inside. The workshop smelled of dry wood and sea air. I don't mean to bother you," Malik began. "You are not a bother," she replied. "You are a person. Sit." Malik sat on a small stool. He noticed something strange. The workshop was simple, almost bare. Yet it felt peaceful, like an uncluttered mind. The woman continued weaving as she spoke. "My name is Sana," she said. "And yours?" "Malik." Sana nodded. "Malik, tell me what weighs you down." Malik swallowed. He hadn't planned to confess his life to a stranger. But something about Sana's calm made honesty feel safe. "I keep trying to change," Malik said. "I make plans, I start strong, then I lose it. I go back, over and over." He stared at his hands. "I'm tired of myself." Sana's eyes softened, but she did not pity him. She looked at him the way a lighthouse looks at a ship, steady, not dramatic. "Tell me," she asked, "when you try to change, what do you do first?" Malik brightened a little, eager to prove he had tried. "I set big goals," he said. I plan everything. I tell myself, starting tomorrow, I'll become disciplined. I write schedules, I clean my room, I watch videos, I get inspired. Sana nodded slowly, still weaving. And then? She asked. And then, Malik exhaled. Then life happens. I get tired, I miss one day, and after one miss, I think, it's ruined. So I stop. I start again later, and the cycle repeats. Sana placed her basket aside and picked up a single bamboo stalk. It was long, smooth, and hollow. She held it out. Malik, she said, what do you notice about bamboo? He blinked. It's strong. Sana tapped it lightly. It made a gentle sound. And? She pressed. He looked closer. It's hollow. Sana smiled. Yes, hollow. Empty inside. Malik frowned. What does that have to do with me? Sana leaned forward slightly. Many people think lasting change comes from adding more, she said. More motivation, more intensity, more rules, more pressure. She tapped the bamboo again. But bamboo becomes strong by staying hollow, by staying open. Malik looked confused. Sana did not rush him. Tomorrow, she said, come back here at sunrise. Wear shoes you can dirty. I will show you something your notebook cannot. Malik wasn't sure why, but he nodded. The next morning, he arrived while the sky was still pale. Sana stood outside with 2 small buckets and a spade. Follow me, she said. They walked beyond the market, past a narrow path, to a hillside garden overlooking the sea. The garden was not grand, it was not full of perfect flowers, it was practical. Rows of vegetables, a few fruit trees, and a corner where bamboo grew in tall clusters. Sana handed Malik a bucket. Today, she said, we water the bamboo. Malik expected a lecture, but Sana simply began to work. She carried water. She poured it carefully at the base of each stalk. No splashing, no drama, just steady care. Malik did the same, though part of him felt impatient. After a while, Malik asked, is this the lesson? Watering plants? Sana did not look offended. No, she said, this is only the doorway. They finished watering. Then Sana pointed to a patch of earth where nothing seemed to grow. Do you see that? She asked. It's empty, Malik said. Sana nodded. It looks empty, but the bamboo roots may be spreading there. Malik tilted his head. Roots? But there's nothing. Sana smiled as if she had been waiting for him to say that. When bamboo is planted, she said, it spends a long time growing roots before it grows tall. She pressed the spade gently into the soil. It may look like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, a foundation is being built. Malik stared at the ground, as if he might see the hidden work. Sana continued. Many people quit because they do not see results quickly. They water the soil for a week and say, this isn't working. They forget that some growth is silent. Malik's chest tightened. He thought of all the times he had started something and abandoned it because the results weren't immediate. Sana stood upright and looked at him. Tell me, Malik, she asked, when you try to change, are you growing roots or are you only chasing leaves? He didn't answer right away because the question landed inside him like a stone in a pond. I don't know, he admitted. Sana walked to a small bench and sat. Malik sat beside her. She picked up a bamboo cup, simple, handmade, slightly uneven. She poured water into it from a small jug and handed it to Malik. Drink, she said. He drank. The water was cool and clean. Sana watched him. People think change is a performance, she said softly. They announce it. They demand it. They force it. She paused. But lasting change is quieter than pride. It is like water, steady, patient, returning again and again. Malik looked down at the bamboo cup. Sana continued, "Let me ask you something. When you miss one day, why does your whole plan collapse?" Malik felt embarrassed. "Because I think I failed." Sana nodded. "Yes, and when you believe you failed, you punish yourself by giving up." She leaned closer. "But what if missing one day is not failure? What if it is simply a normal bend in the road?" Malik's eyes narrowed, as if he was trying to see a new shape to the world. Sana pointed to the bamboo cup in his hands. "This cup," she said, "was not made in one perfect motion. It was woven strip by strip. If I pulled too hard, it would snap. If I rushed, it would warp." She held up her fingers, roughened by years of weaving. "Lasting change," she said, "is not built by force. It is built by return." "Return?" Malik repeated. Sana nodded. "Return to the practice. Return to the intention. Return even after you slip." Her voice remained gentle, but her words were firm like a river stone. Malik's throat tightened. "But I want big change. I want to be different." Sana smiled, as if she understood the hunger beneath his words. "Then stop trying to become a different person overnight," she said. "Become a person who returns." Malik stared at her. Sana's eyes were kind, but they did not soften the truth. "Listen carefully," she said. "People do not change because they feel inspired. They change because they practice something small until it becomes natural. Inspiration is like a wave. It rises and it falls. But practice is like the tide. It returns again and again, shaping the shore." Malik swallowed. He felt both exposed and relieved, as if someone had finally explained why his motivation always disappeared. Sana stood and walked to the bamboo grove. She ran her hand along one stalk. "Do you know why bamboo survives storms?" she asked. "It's strong," Malik said. Sana shook her head. "Not only strong." She gently pushed the stalk. It bent and sprang back. "It is flexible," she said. "It yields without breaking." She looked back at Malik. "You, Malik, when life pushes you, you break your plan and call yourself weak." "But what if your plan learned to bend?" Malik felt something shift inside him, a small opening, like a window cracked for fresh air. Sana returned and placed a small bundle of bamboo strips into his hands. "Come," she said, "you will weave one basket with me." Malik blinked. "I don't know how." Sana smiled. "You do not need to know how. You only need to begin." They sat together at the low table in her workshop. Sana showed him how to place the first strip, then another, then another. Over, under, over, under. Malik's fingers fumbled. His first weave was messy. He sighed in frustration. Sana did not scold him. She only said, "Return." He tried again. The next strip was slightly better. Then another. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Malik looked up at Sana. "This is hard." Sana nodded. "Yes." Then she added, "And you are still here." Malik fell silent. He kept weaving. When a strip slipped out of place, Sana didn't say, "You ruined it." She said, gently, "Return it." When Malik's fingers cramped, Sana didn't say, "Stop." She said, "Rest, then return." When Malik made a mistake, Sana didn't call him careless. She said, "Good, now you know what to adjust." By late afternoon, Malik held a small, imperfect basket. The sides were uneven, the bottom slightly crooked, but it was real. He stared at it as if he had made more than a basket. Sana watched him quietly. Malik spoke softly. "It's not perfect." Sana nodded. "And yet it holds." Malik's eyes stung. "I've been treating my life like it must be perfect or it's worthless." Sana's voice was tender as she replied, "Yes, that is why you could not change." She tapped the basket gently. "Perfection is heavy," she said. "It makes you afraid to begin and ashamed when you stumble. But practice is light. Practice says, 'I will return.'" Malik lowered his head, letting the lesson sink deeper than motivation ever had. Sana continued, "Here is the secret to lasting change, Malik." She spoke slowly so the words could land. "Choose a change so small you can do it even on your worst day. And when you miss, do not dramatize it. Do not punish yourself. Simply return." Malik looked up. "Is that really enough?" Sana smiled, eyes warm. "Enough for what?" she asked. "Enough to become perfect? No, but enough to become steady. And steady is what makes change last." Malik held the basket close, like a quiet promise. In the weeks that followed, Malik did not transform into a flawless hero. He did something much more powerful. He became a person who returned. He chose one small habit, 10 minutes of walking each day. Not an hour, not a grand plan, 10 minutes, something humble enough to survive his worst moods. Some days he walked longer. Some days he only walked around a block. A few days he missed, but this time he did not declare himself a failure. He did not burn the notebook and start a new identity on Monday. He remembered Sana's voice. Return. So he returned. And slowly, quietly, like bamboo roots spreading beneath unseen soil, his life began to change. Not because he was always motivated, but because he stopped treating mistakes as endings. One morning, Malik passed Sana's workshop and saw her weaving again. He held up his small basket, repaired and reinforced with time. Sana smiled without surprise. "Ah," she said, "I see you have been returning." Malik bowed his head slightly, grateful. "I thought change was a storm," he said. "But it's more like water." Sana nodded. "Yes," she said. "Water does not shout. Water does not rush. But water returns. And over time, even stone learns a new shape." And now, my friend, let me turn gently toward you. How many times have you tried to change and quit because you were not perfect? How often have you missed a day and decided the whole journey was ruined? If your heart feels tired from starting over, remember Malik's basket. It did not become useful because it was flawless. It became useful because it was woven and rewoven and held together by return. The lesson I wanted to teach is simple. Lasting change is not built by intensity. Lasting change is built by consistency. And consistency is born from compassion. When you stumble, do not abandon yourself. Return. So choose one small step, so small you can do it even when life feels heavy. A glass of water, a 5-minute walk, one page of reading, one kind sentence to yourself. And when you miss, do not shout at your soul. Do not throw away the whole basket. Just return. If you learned something today, or if Malik's journey brought you even a small sense of calm, I invite you to stay connected with us. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Short tales to soothe your heart and guide your steps. If this story should reach more people who are struggling with lasting change, like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and comment below, what does lasting change mean to you? Your one comment may encourage someone else who feels stuck tonight. And if you'd like more stories that bring gentle comfort and insight, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next healing tale. Until then, remember, you do not need to be perfect. You only need to return. Small Stories, Big Healing will be here with another tale whenever your heart needs a gentle reminder.